Hi guys and welcome back to my channel all about narrations. I hope y'all are having a week that is filled with reading or at least watching movies. Talking about movies, we have a very interesting and much awaited film releasing this weekend, which is Barbie. And I think for a lot of us, Barbie has been our first introduction to sort of playtime in our childhood, and whatever the definition of being girly is, like the cliched definition, I was that for the longest time in my childhood, and Barbie was my introduction to sort of lifestyle and fashion, and she did have influence, a big influence on me. So now that years later, decades later, there's a movie releasing on Barbie, I just thought that it's important for me to address that on my channel, and I have a very fun sort of video idea for this one. So because we associate with Barbie so much, I thought of playing a what if sort of quiz, and I'm gonna Google things like what if Barbie, and whatever comes up, whatever questions come up, let's try to answer those, and y'all can feel free to tell me or answer those questions in the comments. I'd love to read them. Wait, but before we start the video, I want to tell a tiny little cute story from my childhood which is related to Barbie. I remember I must have been like 5 or 6 years of age, and there was a new Barbie kitchen set that was launched, and I really wanted it. And it was, I think it came out just like a day before my dad was supposed to leave for like one of his trips for like his university, because he's a professor, and like he was going to Dubai, and the day before that, or the night before, he had an early morning flight, and the night before that I created a ruckus like in the entire house. I was like, I want to go and buy that. I want to go and buy the Barbie kit and the kitchen set. Like I want it. And I am a single kid, and I have been pampered more than necessary, which I'm grateful for. But this is what happens with pampered kids in childhood, is that they don't know this thing called boundaries and responsibilities, and like just that there is a life that there are lives existing apart from theirs which are important. And for me, I was like, of course I want it, and my mom and dad are obviously gonna give it to me. But my dad was like, I'm like, it was literally nighttime, and he had to leave the next morning, and I made sure that I create like an extreme amount of chaos in the house, and he did get me that kit. And now that I still have it, because that was the only time I was so like, I reached my peak of annoyance to my parents. Okay, that was probably the only time in my childhood that and also the only child who must have done that, I think. Like looking back at it, I'm like, what a brat. If that was my kid, I would be like, you gotta chill till whenever I come back, and then we'll talk about this, we'll revisit this area. But yeah, so I don't know, I'm not a brat anymore, I'm way more responsible now. But when it comes to watching Barbie, I am mentally still like 6, 10, 12, I don't know. So the first question is, what if Barbie was a human? That is interesting. What if Barbie was a human? I think the movie is basically going to usher us into the world of Barbie, and how she freaks out when she realizes the human side of things and of life. But in my take, if Barbie was human, I somehow Maybe it is the way she is designed, and by design I mean the facial features, where just like the shape of her eyes, or like just the entire aura. I think she would be extremely zen in nature if she was a human. She would be like an elder sister who I would go for fashion advice for sure. I don't know so much about advice for relationships, but like romantic relationships. But yeah, I think if Barbie was a human, she would be a very zen and a very fun and a very, very, very fashionable person to be around, and she would actually up everyone else's fashion game by just being present, I think. So the next question is, how is Barbie so rich? Well, that is an extremely interesting and important question, I think. How is Barbie so rich? Well, if I continue the answer, like if she was a human, she would be like into fashion. And I think in today's day and age, how is she so rich? She's probably an influencer and like a content creator and a model. So I think that is where her income is coming from, I think. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The next question is, why is Barbie so hyped? I think Barbie is hyped because she has been a part of millions and millions of lives of girls in their childhood. I mean, it's basically their growing up years, right? It's the most influential time in your life as a kid. And I think when you don't isolate a toy with just one like toy figure, and you give additions to them, like they have their own palace like house, or they have their own kitchen set. And Barbie, when it was designed and it was produced and it was selling, Barbie was a doctor. One of the Barbies that I had was an animal doctor. The other was a rock star, pop star. One of the Barbies was, I think, like a professional hiker, trekker, like a very sporty chick. So I think when Barbie was presented not just like a very aesthetic, beautiful looking figure, but she was put in these roles that women were adhering to, and all these professions were merged with something aesthetic. I think that is the reason why Barbie became popular, and now I'm so glad that as we're progressing, Barbie is not confined to one shape, size, color, height, anything, because beauty cannot be standardized. Okay, there is no standard for beauty. And now that we see so many Barbies in so many ways, living so many different kinds of lives and having positive sort of influence on the younger girls, I'm just glad that this is the way Barbie is being portrayed, and this is the way Barbie is getting popular now. So I'm pretty glad. This question is extremely confusing for me. So it says, what if Barbie does not want Ken? Now, I really don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I feel like Ken is a happy addition to Barbie's life. He lets her be. I think that if Barbie did not have a Ken in her life, there would be less cheer or less. I like a love romantic angle and story. So please, let's just have Ken wherever there's Barbie. So I think I'm gonna wrap up. These were pretty much the questions that I liked answering, but in the comments y'all can give your answers as well, because I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one who has been influenced by Barbie all these years. So I would be waiting to see your replies, and do hit the like button, share and subscribe, share it with your friends, your fellow Barbie lovers. Also, you can take an espresso shot every time I say Barbie in this video, because it's a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna see you all next time. Bye.